pretty much my entire time on Linux has been as a tiling window manager user, but sometimes, I will concede and make use of KDE Plasma. Of the desktop environments right now, this is my favorite option. I do like Cosmic. I do like that Cosmic has tiling built in. I have some issues with some of the other things Cosmic is doing, and we'll see where that ends up going. Now, there are technically tiling scripts for KDE Plasma. I say technically scripts because, well, really there's only one that actually is still kind of a thing. So, at one point it was Bismuth, then it was Cronkite, then it was Polonium, and now we are back to Cronkite. The repo on GitHub is archived but has moved over to Codeberg, and this is still being actively developed. Somewhat. This is basically the main tiling system that people use on Plasma. If you prefer something more akin to the scrolling model you see on things like Neri or PaperWM, there is also Carousel as well. This is a scrolling tiling window manager for Plasma. I've not tried this out. I actually need to go and do so and see if it's good. Now, like a lot of environments built in, Plasma does have some sort of tiling-esque features. So if we use our keyboard, I do super left, we go here, super up, we're now in the corner, super right, we go extend, and like this. Most environments have something similar, if not key bindings. Usually there'll be like a way to, you know, snap along the edges, things like that. It's a little awkward with multi-monitors, but that is a thing you can do. And that's not really unique to Plasma. Plasma also has the tiling editor. This is a separate feature where if I press Super T, it brings up this interface, and then I can go and resize whatever I want. I can add new tiles in here. Let's go remove that one, put one here, and then if I go out of this, press Escape, and hold down Super Shift as I'm dragging a window, we can then snap into any of those boxes. I've said it before, I do kind of wish that the keybinds interacted with that system. They don't, because the tiling editor is a newer system, but I at least wish it was an option to make use of this layout with the keybinds. That, I think, would be a pretty good position to be in. I think there is actually a Kwin script that does do that, but I might be wrong there. But what if I said there was another way? Not a tiling script that works like a regular tiler, not something that is a scrolling window manager, not something that interacts with the tiling editor, something which I don't think I've ever seen before. A completely manual, almost entirely mouse-driven tiling experience. This isn't a theoretical, this is a real project which does exist, and I've been hearing about for a little bit now. MouseTiler, the fastest, simplest, that's debatable, tiler for KDE Plasma 6 Plus that gives you full freedom at your fingertip. No need to remember dozens of keyboard shortcuts or be limited by a fixed tile layout. This is exactly what it says. Maybe ignoring the simplest part, but this is a mouse tiling system. Regardless of the air quotes around simplest and the biggest grain of salt, I do think this is a really cool project nonetheless, even though it's not necessarily something I would like to daily drive. With it installed and enabled, every time you drag a window, you're going to see this thing appear. And if you drag it anywhere outside the window, it's just going to float the window. Or if you go and press Super and then space, it will disappear. But this right here is at least part of your tiling control. Don't worry, I will show you the full thing as well. And from this window, we can select whatever we want to do. So if I go and drag it into this right here, it does a full screen tile. If I go and drag it into this one, it does a half screen. If I go over here, it puts into a column, so on and so forth. All of what you're seeing here is pretty self-explanatory. Obviously, with one window, it doesn't really do it justice. Let's go and take this one, and let's put it there. Okay, if we go and take, let's say, this one here, it will actually go and split the window that you have on your screen. So this is going to take up that entire part of the screen, but you can also go and split individual sections as well. So let's go and take up, let's say we take up this section here, and then let's go and drag it into the fill option. So fill is going to take all of the existing space and expand the window out to it. So let's go and let's drag this window over here instead. Let's do the same thing, fill, and now it shrinks down to that section. So fill is going to take the largest empty space, and the other one is going to take the smallest empty space. So if maybe you have a, let's say, something like this. If we go and make a new window, and then drag it into fill, it's going to take that one. Drag it into smaller, it's going to take that one. Everything you're seeing here feels pretty self-explanatory based on the diagrams you're seeing. And it might be weird, it might be a little bit awkward, but everything here kind of makes sense. I don't think it is the fastest way of doing tiling. Absolutely not. I think you're much better off having a keyboard-driven system. But I think if you want to have something that is entirely mouse-focused, this actually is really cool. I will say, though, at least with the default configuration, it is very much configured for a horizontal display. If you try to do any of this stuff on a vertical display, it's, you know, it's clearly not designed for. Like, a vertical display, you wouldn't want to go and have a tower in most cases. You'd want to split the screen, you know, in half along the, you know, the horizontal, the height. You want to split it along the height. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say. For a regular horizontal display, though, which is what most people are using for most of their displays, it's fine out of the box. Most of this video is recorded on one version back, as between the original filming and now, a new version came out, and I'm not going to record the entire thing for a singular feature. One thing that was added is the ability to also go and jump between workspaces. You can also go and create new workspaces as well if that is something you want to do. Now, this isn't even remotely all of the power this plugin gives you. So if we go and drag the window, and now we press Control, Meta, and Space, this takes us into another mode. This takes us into, I guess, grid mode, spanning mode, whatever you want to call it. If I go and drag into one of these, it then puts it in that spot. Okay, fair enough. Let's go back into that. So again, Control, Meta, Space, now we're back in here, and there are some options we have available in here. If I press Control and Space, this takes us into spanning mode. You're going to notice each of these boxes lighting up. If I let go, the window is going to take up the selected space. And this time press Control, Meta, C. This puts us into centering mode. Let's just select a single one of these tiles. Let's say this one here. It's not going to resize the window, but it is going to center the window on that tile. So you can probably start to see how this really all fits together. Let's have another window here. Let's open up B-top. So let's go drag the window, go into this mode, go into the spanning mode. Let's put the window there, and then let's take this window here, and I don't know, let's go do the same thing, and let's just put it in that tile there. Boom. Easy. Very few keybinds. Only keybinds you need to remember are the mode swapping keybinds. But that is not the only mode we have. So let's go in and press Control Space from the starting one. Now you truly see the full power of this tool. We have basically every possible layout you could even remotely consider. Even some layouts which I don't even know why you would want them. What reason is there to have this layout? I don't know. Maybe someone does know, but it is an option. Do keep in mind with any of these control space bindings that if you're using an IM like FCITX, oftentimes control space is going to be the binding to activate the IM, so yeah, maybe rebind that or rebind the plugin. Either way, you don't want to kind of double bind those, otherwise you're going to be randomly swapping between languages you're using. Now, even with there being a lot more options available here, all of them still are pretty self-explanatory what they do. If I go that one there, puts the window like that, right? All of these kind of make sense, even though there's just a lot here. And that's the nice thing about diagrams for things. Diagrams, usually for very visual things, tend to be pretty easy to understand and pretty easy to sort of wrap your head around, even with there being a lot here. All you need to remember really is where in the overlay you actually need to find the thing that you're trying to be using. A lot of the permutations you see here would often be things that are behind keybinds, right? This is a master stack with a double stack. This is a master stack, but the stack is on the right side. This is a master stack, but you have 2 master nodes and then 2 stacks on the right side, right? This is a master stack with a center master. Usually in most tilers, these would be pretty easy things to set up by just, running a couple of bindings. But if you're the kind of person that really doesn't like the idea of having your keyboard do everything for you, having to do everything with your mouse, I think this is an interesting model to play around with. I would like to see this model alongside an automatic tiler. So everything goes into tiles automatically, but then when you drag a window around, you can then rearrange things with a layout like this. I don't know if this is something a dev would consider, doing something like Cronkite as a base, and then this as the way you go and configure things, but I think that would be super interesting. Along with your general tiling controls, you also have your window controls as well. You have your maximize, minimize, keep above, keep below, full screen, close. No title bar, no frame if that's something you want to do. Do note this does potentially cause some problems with certain applications, so maybe avoid running this one, but if we go and close it, it closes the application. Basically everything you'd expect to be here from having keybinds is going to be here with the mouse control. This is a tool that is absolutely committed to a certain way of working. This is committed to a singular interaction. It doesn't matter if keyboard controls would be vastly better in the majority of cases. The dev had a personal problem and fixed it personally. And you know what? That's awesome. Now, if you want to install it, you can go into your KWin settings, go to KWin scripts, go up to get new, search MouseTiler, and then get it from there. If for some reason it doesn't show up, which for me it didn't show up, I don't know why. Their other plugin did though. Instead what you can do is go to the GitHub, go to the releases section, grab the KWin script, and then if you go into install from file, you can just load the file in. Also it is available on the KDE plugin store, which is where Get New was pulling things from, so I don't know why it didn't show up when I searched with Get New, but you can also go to the KDE plugin store website and then download it from there as well. From your KWin scripts page, you can also access the settings, and well, there's a lot going on here. It's very, very wordy. For an application that has a lot of diagrams for its usage, the settings are completely opposite. In here, you can modify the layouts that you want to see. There is documentation for all of that right here, and the all layouts section as well. Obviously, this is incredibly awkward to go and modify, so there is a graphical web editor being worked on that was apparently expected around a week ago. It's not yet done. The developer still has a lot of work to do with this. The developer, I believe, has a kid. I'm pretty sure. I might be thinking of another dev, but I'm pretty sure they have a kid. They're busy, right? So, things are being worked on, but that will make things a lot easier to work with. And this, I think, is where the real power is going to come from. Obviously, it's one thing to have a generic layout that has been made for pretty much anyone to use, but customizing it to exactly the layout that you want to see, now that is what really makes it powerful. Having it be the exact perfect layout for you, where you know where everything is, it has no additional things, only what you use, that's going to have real power. You've also got your expected settings like window gaps, window margins, what mode you want to start with, all of these various little basic settings you're probably going to want to use. And there is a shortcut section here, but you don't actually modify these shortcuts in the actual settings menu. Shortcuts, like for a lot of things in KWin, are going to be modified in the shortcut section. If you just search MouseTiler it's going to have all of the MouseTiler options here. There is a show config option, but that is not yet implemented. Yeah. Okay. I do remember this correctly. So the dev does have a child. This will be implemented at some point, and you better access that, but not yet. Now, personally, I much prefer a full automatic tiling system, or better yet, I've been really enjoying a scrolling-based system like you see with Niri. But I do think this is a really interesting and really flexible approach to handling the problem. And I'm curious to see where it goes, and I think it's just a neat idea, frankly. Like, I think it's neat that people are trying out different things. We wouldn't have scrolling if someone didn't try out a different thing. So, new things, new options, hey, I'll take it. So, let me know your thoughts. Is this something you'd see yourself using? I know there's a couple of thousand people that have downloaded this plugin, so somebody's using it. Let me know your thoughts. Have you tried it yourself? Do you think this is neat? Did I maybe show you something that you're gonna actually really enjoy? I would love to know. So, if you liked the video, go like the video. If you really like the video, go subscribe. And if you really, really, really like the video and you want to become one of these amazing people over here, check out the Patreon subscribe Daily Bearer Pay, linked in the description down below. That's gonna be it for me, and hands off the mouse. Hands up.